In the toil of thinking, in the serenity of books, in the messages of prophets, the songs of poets, and the wisdom of interpreters, in discoveries of continents, of truths whose margins we may see, we delight in free minds and in their thinking, in the majesty of the moral order, in the faith that right with triumph, in the courage given us when we ally ourselves to truth in any form, in the privilege of being co-workers in good causes, we celebrate the unseen goals we share and serve. Let us build a world safe from war and oppression, free and satisfying, one that ultimately furnishes answers for us all. And this part's bolded and in capitals. Please be seated.
Graduates, friends, and family, good morning and welcome. I am Hong Yu, Associate Dean in the Ted Rogers School of Management. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the land that we're celebrating on today. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. I am so proud to be here today in person to congratulate our new graduates and share in this special celebration with their family and friends. As students, you've demonstrated your ability to pivot to virtual learning during the pandemic, adapt to the changing environment, and be resilient during a challenging time. You have also demonstrated your leadership and desire to push beyond conventional business education, take innovative and creative risks, and work collaboratively to contribute to our community. I encourage you to continue this approach as alumni and use the tools you have acquired here to promote business initiatives that have local, national, and global relevance and change society for the better. Although your time here as an undergrad student is ending, you remain a valuable member of our family. Like all strong families, our school embraces its deep and lasting connections to alumni. And speaking of families, I want to thank all of your families for supporting you through your Ted Rogers School experience. I'm so glad you can be with us today. I sincerely hope you will stay connected by joining your alumni association and that our paths will cross again in the workplace, at Toronto Metropolitan University events, or in the classroom as lifelong learners and graduate students. Take advantage of the many benefits and services you have access to as alumni, including support from a business career hub for life. And when you're out there doing great work, your new colleagues are going to turn to you one day and say, "That's so impressive. Where did you learn that?" I want you to confidently tell them, "I'm from the Ted Rogers School of Management." To begin this very special day, I introduce to you the Chancellor of Toronto Metropolitan University, Janice Fukakusa.
Graduates, I am proud and very honored to speak to you. Today is your day of very well-deserved celebration, and we share our pride in your success with everyone whose love and support has played a part in bringing you here today. Now, normally at this stage of the convocation, I typically share a few pieces of advice to the graduating class. After 2 years of pandemic, however, I think that you, the graduates, should be giving us the advice. Graduates, you went through a remarkable experience. You endured and came through it, achieving your ultimate objective. You succeeded by facing and overcoming unforeseen barriers. I hope you can share these experiences with others and be proud of what you have achieved. In fact, be proud of the impact that you will have in the months and years to come. And take time to reflect on your achievements, because it builds the confidence essential to the inevitable challenges that you will find in the years ahead. And remember, when you look back at your university experience, I encourage you to remember what you learned about yourself. That resilience gives you the means to learn from your experiences, and determination will keep you focused on your dreams. After all, you have all proven that you have the talent and drive to succeed. On this special day of celebration, let me close by offering my congratulations and best wishes for your journey ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Fakakusa. Now, please welcome the University President and Vice Chancellor, Mohammad Lachmi.
Thank you. Welcome to our graduates, family and friends, colleagues from across the university and beyond. Class of 2022, this is an important day for you, and you have our warmest congratulations. You graduate at a milestone moment in history. Despite the challenges brought on by the pandemic, you remained committed to your studies, kept connected to your classes, and served your community in more ways than I can describe here. A milestone also because your graduating here will be forever linked to our historic name change. What has not changed from the day you selected this university to the moment you cross the stage to accept your award are the values that define our university. And when you return as alumni, you will feel right at home. Class of 2022, the first graduating class of Toronto Metropolitan University, you helped shape this place. Now, both you and the university look ahead to a new chapter and a bright future. A future of promise and optimism, better prepared than ever to meet the challenges and opportunities ahead. This is your time. You have what the world is looking for: talent, energy, and new ideas. Your years here have prepared you for this moment. We are so very glad that you choose this university, that you immerse yourself in our university community. I hope you are feeling grateful for each other, for the good friends who shared your university experience and are now friends for life. Which brings us full circle. While we may find success as individuals, as a society, we depend on each other. We need loved ones. I'm glad to see many of them with you today. We need colleagues and a community. In France, you know, we never say goodbye. Instead, we say au revoir, which literally means until we see you again. Enjoy your very special day and stay close to your alma mater, for together we will shape the future. And now I invite you to please enjoy a short video.
Today marks a momentous moment in the story of your life. Just a few years ago, you began a new chapter. For some, that meant moving to a new city. For many, that meant discovering new perspectives. And for all, that meant opening your mind to new possibilities. Along the way, you were met with challenges unfamiliar to those who came before you and to those who follow. You embraced the responsibility of learning and unlearning, inspired by the people and places that played a part. Together, we evolved. While this chapter comes to a close, your story continues. Tomorrow, you'll remember this moment, not for who you were, but for who you have become. Today, we'll celebrate the diversity of your experience, your commitment to shaping a better future, and your part in our story. As the first graduating class of Toronto Metropolitan University.
This year marks an important milestone for the Ted Rogers School of Management. It is the 15th anniversary of the naming of the school in recognition for an extraordinary gift from Ted and Loretta Rogers. Ted Rogers died in 2008. Less than 2 weeks ago, we were deeply saddened to learn that Loretta Rogers had passed away. Their impact on this school and this university is immense. It cannot be underestimated. Their gift to business and creative education sparked transformation that continues to this day. From just over 7,000 students in TRSM in 27, the business school has grown to over 12,000 students today. To give you some perspectives, enrollment in TRSM is now larger than the entire enrollment at 70 other universities in Canada. That's 2/3 of all Canadian universities. Our reputation has reached new heights as well. The Ted Rogers MBA is ranked number 3 in Canada by Bloomberg Business Week, and 2nd in Canada for entrepreneurship and learning. Loretta and Ted Rogers believed that education changed lives, and they believed in the potential of TMU students. For more than 40 years, the support of the Rogers family has shaped our university's history and positioned us for the future. In addition to TRSM, their generosity sparked the creation of the Rogers Communications Center on our campus and launched the Edward Senior Rogers Graduate School for Advanced Communication in the Creative School. Loretta Rogers served on our Board of Governors and was awarded an honorary doctorate in 2004. She was a great friend of the university, and we will forever remember her kind and generous spirit. To honor the memory of Loretta Rogers, I ask you all, if you can, to please stand with the Chancellor and myself and thank Loretta Rogers for her contributions to our university with applause. Thank you.
Thank you, President Lashmi. I now welcome to the podium business management student and one of today's graduates, Bradley Wells, to introduce today's speaker.
Good morning, everyone. Chancellor Fukusuka, President Lashmi, Provost Simpson, deans, honored guests, our friends and family, and of course, my fellow graduates from the class of 2022. I am honored to be here this morning to introduce to you the Associate Dean of Students for the Ted Rogers School of Management, Dr. Alan Goss, who has been invited to deliver today's convocation address. Dr. Goss began his journey in 2007 at the Ted Rogers School of Management, serving first as a faculty member in the School of Accounting and Finance, then becoming the chair of the Finance Department, before being appointed Associate Dean of Students in 2016. Since day one, Dr. Goss' #1 focus has been his commitment to each and every one of us, the students of the Ted Rogers School of Management. Dr. Goss has always ensured that we have the best possible experience during our undergrad. During his tenure, Dr. Goss has overseen the rapid growth of our school, including the development of new services, new experiential learning opportunities, additional engagement programs, and of course, the expansion of the Ted Rogers Co-op program, giving many of us in this room 16 months of paid work experience before we even cross this stage today. But of course, anyone who has ever attended a student group event has probably seen Dr. Goss there. You may have even had the pleasure, as I have many times, to hear him speak, including for the first time at a TRSS event on October 25th, 2017. At this event, Dr. Goss spoke to the students about the value of learning beyond the classroom, the importance of getting involved in student groups, and how we as students needed to make the most of our time at the Ted Rogers School of Management. I personally will never forget this speech and hearing Dr. Goss's own personal story of not getting involved during his time. In fact, after this speech, I called my parents and told them how much this speech inspired me and how I now wanted to become a student leader. Becoming a student leader became a goal of mine, and it's one that I and many others who have been inspired by this speech in the past ultimately achieved. I have had the privilege to work closely with Dr. Goss throughout my last 2 years as president of the Ted Rogers Student Society, and it has been remarkable to have Dr. Goss be such a strong champion for student life. He supports all of our extraordinary and sometimes very unique ideas, and he encourages us all to reach our potential and overall helps develop the leaders of tomorrow. He has attended hundreds of student-led events over the years, and he always celebrates and proudly boasts our accomplishments. To top it all off, after each student-held event, he personally emails the students involved in the organizers to congratulate them for all their hard work. If I haven't made it clear already, Dr. Goss's passion and vision for the Ted Rogers Schools has revolved around investing in us, the students, to ensure that we have had the best possible undergraduate experience at the Ted Rogers School of Management. This strategy has helped elevate our school status to where it is today, making the Ted Rogers School of Management, and now to quote Dr. Goss, the best business school in Canada. It is now my honor to call to the stage the Associate Dean of Students, Dr. Alan Goss, for today's commencement address.
Chancellor Fukusuka, President Lashmi, Provost Simpson, deans, esteemed colleagues and representatives who join us on stage, members of the graduating class, your families, friends, and honored guests. It is my pleasure to be with you today, and I want to thank Brad for that very generous introduction, and to my colleagues for giving me the opportunity to address the graduating class. My role today is to share some thoughts and provide some words of encouragement as you embark on the next chapter of your lives. And often, while we consider the future, it's instructive to look to the past. And so I thought I'd start by sharing a story from the 1950s about a businessman. His name was Nat Taylor, and Nat was the owner of a movie theater in Ottawa, Ontario. It was called the Elgin. And there wasn't anything particularly special about the Elgin Theater, except that Mr. Taylor had divided it into 2 screening rooms. One was a smaller theater for art films, and he called that the Little Elgin. And then he had a larger auditorium, and that's where he showed his bigger budget movies. He called it the Big Elgin. Nat was an entrepreneur, and he was always looking for creative ways to satisfy customer demand. And so it was in 1957 that Nat found the solution to a problem that had vexed theater owners for years. And in doing so, he changed the film industry forever. You see, Nat wanted to show the latest blockbuster release. It was a movie called Bridge on the River Kwai. And he didn't want to lose that movie to any of his competitors in the other Ottawa theaters. And the problem was that he was still showing a movie called Witness for the Prosecution. And it was still bringing in decent box office receipts. And he didn't want to give up on that movie either. So he had 2 hit movies. He only had 1 movie theater, and he couldn't show them both. But in a flash of inspiration, Taylor decided that he would show Bridge on the River Kwai in the Big Elgin, while he continued simultaneously to show Witness for the Prosecution in the Little Elgin. This was revolutionary in 1957. It had never been done before, and it was a huge success. Customers got more choice, and Taylor made more money. But the story doesn't end there, because Nat Taylor had vision. He realized that if he had more small screens, he could maximize choice for the movie-going public. And by matching theater sizes to audience demand, he could keep capacity utilization high. He also realized he probably wouldn't need ornate vaudeville-type theaters, the type that typically were converted to show movies. He could build his movie theaters in shopping malls or office complexes. And so he did. And in spite of the critics who were absolutely convinced that his idea would fail, he realized his vision, opening his largest multiplex in Toronto in 1979. It had 18 screens. He opened it in the basement of a shopping mall garage, and he called it Cineplex. Of course, we all know Cineplex, but that very first Cineplex is long gone now. But for a time, it was remembered in the Guinness Book of Records as the theater with the most screens under one roof, and it is remembered as one of the most important theaters in Toronto's history. And Nat Taylor, a Canadian entrepreneur, changed the way movies are consumed around the world. Nat Taylor didn't wait for the future to be revealed to him. He created the future. And that is the power of vision. Now, you might wonder why I decided to tell that story this morning. Certainly, I could have told other stories about entrepreneurs. But what you might not know is that parking garage, the one that housed the very first Cineplex movie theater, it was torn down to make way for the Ted Rogers School of Management. And so every time that you were walking from the Dundas subway station along that corridor to Mark's Work Warehouse and then up those escalators to come into our building, you are walking past the spot where that very first original Cineplex was. And when I walk past that spot, I like to think that maybe some of the same entrepreneurial spirit that allowed such a simple idea to have such a profound cultural impact still permeates the walls of the Ted Rogers School of Management. Because I see that entrepreneurial spirit in all of you. I see it in the incredible things that students do each and every day. From snagging, for example, the founder of Apple Corporation, Steve Wozniak, as the speaker for your student-run Ted Rogers Management Conference, to the Babylon Bay merchandise that has become the de facto uniform for students at the Ted Rogers School of Management. I see the entrepreneurial spirit of students in action every day. Your time at the Ted Rogers School of Management has trained you to make connections and think outside the box and find solutions where others can only see problems. This is a desperately needed skill in the Canadian economy, and I encourage you to nurture that ability. So regardless of what roles that you take on in the future, make it your job to say, we can do this, and then roll up your sleeves and get to work making your own future. Don't worry too much about the doubters. There will be plenty of people who will line up and tell you why your ideas won't succeed. Don't invest too much of your time trying to find reasons why things won't work. Trust me, there will be plenty of others willing to do that job for you. And of course, I'm not naive. I know that there will be times when you fail. You will have setbacks. But I'm confident that persistence and optimism will allow you to achieve your dreams. I'll close by taking this opportunity to speak directly to the parents and the loved ones who are here today. I want to thank you for the support that you continue to provide graduates as they begin their professional careers. This truly is an amazing group of young people, and you should all be incredibly proud. I've had the privilege of working with them over these last 6 years. And over again, I've watched students come from around the world and come together to work on school projects and in clubs, on teams. And the remarkable thing about these students is that they never viewed the process of getting their degrees here at the Ted Rogers School as some grim Darwinian struggle where they had to sabotage the efforts of each other in order to get ahead. Instead, they became friends, and they supported each other, and they worked together with a spirit of camaraderie that really is remarkable. And frankly, I'm convinced that if the world's leaders could just show the same Ted Rogers spirit to each other, then many of the conflicts that so trouble the world today would simply disappear. And that's the thing that makes working with Ted Rogers students so incredibly inspiring. And it's what fills me with such optimism for the future. Finally, and most importantly, I want to thank all of you, the students. Being the Associate Dean students for these past 6 years has been one of the highlights of my professional career. And it's because of you. Each of you has such incredible potential, and you only need to believe in yourselves, and you can change the world. Now, those of you who have heard me speak at student events will know that I am convinced that the future leaders of Canadian business are sitting in this arena right now, this morning. Of this, I have no doubt. And so, just as Nat Taylor did 50 years ago, I know that one of the students who crosses the stage today will profoundly change the future of Canadian business. And so my final question to each of you this morning is, why shouldn't it be you? Thank you, and congratulations to all of you.
Thank you for your inspiring words, Elle. As our graduates prepare to come forward, I will take this opportunity to request that you hold your applause until all graduates have crossed the stage. We do, however, welcome spontaneous outbursts of joy, enthusiasm, and even relief from family and friends. That's all part of your celebration. And so all graduates are celebrated equally. We ask that everyone please remain for the duration of the ceremony. I now ask to come forward and thank in advance the University Registrar, Robin Parr.
Will our graduates please rise if you're able? Chancellor Fukakusa, President Lashmi, Provost Simpson, honored guests, faculty members, staff, families, and friends of the graduands. I have the honor and pleasure to present graduands from Toronto Metropolitan University's Ted Rogers School of Management degree programs. Our graduands include all those who are joining us today, as well as those unable to attend who are graduating in absentia. I certify that each has met the academic requirements for the awards they are about to receive, and each has been duly approved by the University Senate. My congratulations to each of you. You can be seated.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to present candidates for the undergraduate degrees in the Ted Rogers School of Management. Bachelor of Commerce Honors, Business Management, Law, and Business, Maria Arcuri. Jaswant Banwait, with distinction. Jasdeep Bondi. Rafaela Bichet, with distinction. Michael Batch. Shanoya Brown. Rani Bulsara. Zachary Carson. Juliana Cachero. Nazia Choiti. Joanna Curcio. Rishi Darubra. Sierra Decina. Mark Anthony DeMattias. Sania Dakal. John Dixon. Chloe DeMakis Marcus. Julie Dreyer. Sophia Durante. Malak El Shabokshi. Rafal Fatani, with distinction. Thomas Gallo. Daniel Gandelman. Esteban Garcia Senhueza. Caroline Gobin. Emma Golich. Hannah Goswami. Saeed Hassan. Julia Ayaboni. Robert Iacampo. Tegbir Kairam. Ishani Kabadia. Molasar Kathir Malanathan. Julia Kazakis. Syed Hassan Kazmi. Matthew Kimevsky with distinction. Shreya Kumar. Bawanvir Lali. Brittany Lamotte. Michelle Lawrence. Jason Lee with distinction. Nicholas Lewis. Samson Liu. Ungaro Austin Lupus. Anki Mack with distinction. Yara Manazra. Rachel McColgan. Jasmine Narayan. Navreen Pada with distinction. Tara Racy with distinction. Halima Rehman. Ibrahim Rehman. Shamsa Sajwani with distinction. Dylan Sami. Ivana Sharovich. Margie Shah. Megha Sharma. Harleen Sidhu. Tanmeet Sidhu. Fiona Singh. Giuseppe Serrano. Pablo Suarez. Nancy Tan. Rasika Thangaraja. Rasika is also receiving a Bachelor of Commerce honors in Business Management, Marketing Management. Thomas Zacharias. Bachelor of Commerce honors Business Management, Law and Business Cooperative Program. Vasilios Segarelis. Kevin Balkaran with distinction. Rodas Baraki. Michael Capolongo. Jessica Deng. Harwinder Dio. Verna Guan. Jupneet Good with distinction. Safa Ismail, with distinction. Danielle Dominique Legaspi. Zachary Muscle. Karthika Nagaraja. Nicole Petrov. Ashley Rampertab, with distinction. Kyle Rarick. Nachikitsin Sarvenya. Samina Selvaraja. Alexander Tendiono. Victoria Valeriani. Natasha Yankov, with distinction. Anna Zahid, with distinction. Bachelor of Commerce, Honors, Business Management, Marketing Management. Hanan Abdallah. Amir Abdalmalak. Naji Abdullahi. Noor Abu Ramadan. Aban Ahmed. Adnan Alim. Biftu Ali. David Allen. Hussein El-Molawi, with distinction. Joel Arun Kumar. Christian Ochiello. Jason Baines. Jada Balian. Pedro Balzan Gutierrez, with distinction. Matthew Battaglia. Ellie Beadle, with distinction. Meher Bedi. Gavin Bennett. Charlotte Bianchini Riccardi, with distinction. Dilesh Bisanote, with distinction. Morgan Blackett. Nikolina Blazanovic. Alana Ray Bloomberg, with distinction. Inokenti Boitsov. Grace Boyd. Francis Rain Caddis. Jacqueline Carvello, with distinction. Christopher Cavallaro, with distinction. Nicole Chan. Manfred Chow. Stephanie Chen. Pui Yun Chung. Rocky Chung, with distinction. Rachel Chin. Blanca Hojnovska. Hannah Cirillo. Danielle Coombs, with distinction. Jonathan Christopoulos, with distinction. Alexander Curcio, with distinction. Charlene D'Angelo. Andres Davila Caceres. Lindsay Ann Defo. Marvin Del Mundo, with distinction. Mary Eileen Trish Diaz. Nikita Dorofis. Erica Dos Santos. Brock Dowie, with distinction. Nicholas Dufour, with distinction. Brittany Isavi Tezekandi, with distinction. Aya El Baradi. Ferris El Coca. James Elmhurst. Sean Fafinski. Taylor Feasby, with distinction. Edwin Fong. Dylan Ford. Cheyenne Foruzende. Kishen Gandhi, with distinction. Sophia Garufi. Jacob Gerlach. Natasha Gervais. Joao Geninelli Lopez Borges. Zachariah Ganem. Alan Gomez, with distinction. Rayana Gore. Haley Grinnell. Philip Ha, with distinction. Rohanna Habib, with distinction. Si Ling Rachel Ho. Zhanwei Justin Xiang. Jiazin Huang. Syed Hussein. Yasmil Asan Ishmam. Nathan Ivan. Niyusha Javid Nishan. Sana Jawed. Shalindri Joseph. Al Ali Kaba. Lavnia Kuntavanam. Simran Kanwar. Priyanka Kapoor. Saman Khurshid. Ryan Kohli. Yasmin Kuru, with distinction. Lily Lau. Garrick Lee. Hyungjin Antonio Lee. Jo-ok Lee, with distinction. Sang Lee. Helen Lynn. Andrew Lindsay. Shirley Ann Makalalad. John Cedric Makalintal with distinction. Victoria McDonald. Iman Malek. Peter Manjafrida. Nicole Marasigan. Michelle Marenko. Jenny Martinez. Mahira Masood. Dante Masariol. Brianna McEwen Jones with distinction. Eliana McKenzie. Giti Medhezada. Diana Medinanek. Christina Mihilovich. Michael Millier. And Kida Mislunker. Talia Mitchell Getzlaff. Stefan Mumford Marilovic with distinction. Nadine Mustafa. Anit Nanda. Kan Nasi. Nicholas Pacheco with distinction. Concepcion Paez. Justin Pan. James Panakos. Nicole Papa Evangelides. Si Jin Park. Arvin John Pereno with distinction. Catherine Perrin with distinction. Matthew Pham with distinction. Vittoria Pelegi. Anthony Polera. Abhinaya Puvaneswararajan. Anastasia Rasik. Rahim Rambisoon. Ajitan Ravinandran. And Karen Ravinathan. Brooklyn Raymond with distinction. Alyssa Rion with distinction. Samia Riez. Nicholas Richards. Vanessa Russo. Monami Saha. Lorenz Salvador. Sauda Samrodia. Kayla Santos Mota. Aiden Schwarzbart. Adina Shabahat. Ethan Scherer with distinction. Tina Schechtman. Alex Shen. Rajwinder Singh. Shreya Singh. Kilaksan Sivabalan. Ariya Suktala. Abhinav Sripati with distinction. Sharona Tay. Aiden Tekla Mariam. Nivya Thakur. Athmika Thivianath with distinction. Sarah Thompson. Sajith Tiraolokan. Megan Tomlinson. Hugh Ann Tran. Ya Ting Twan. Jedrick Vieira. Taranjot Verk. Miles Wagner. Jacqueline Wasserman. Elizabeth White. Semi William with distinction. Benjamin Wong. Jermaine Wong. Jaya Xavier. Wing Chi Young. Parsa Zakat Roshando. Tatiana Zakharova. Liam Zhang. Cherry Zhang. Wei Fan Zhao. Wen Zheng Zhu. Bachelor of Commerce, Honors, Business Management, Marketing Management, Cooperative Program. Mikhail Izikov with distinction. Adrian Allegro with distinction. Jenny Bang with distinction. Ruben Basha Caballero. Harjab Bering. Eileen Bitan Zenkovic with distinction. Flora Cow. Flora Chandrakumar. Vinny Chu with distinction. Carolina Cortez Paz with distinction. Tiana Demel with distinction. Luke Demichino with distinction. Joyce Fu. Ashma Gar. Sarah Haggerty. Nicholas Hamill with distinction. Jola Harrison. Siran Indrakumar. Hamza Javed with distinction. Miri Kang. Arij Kokar with distinction. Keshni Kumanen with distinction. Mary Adrienne Nicole Kiamko with distinction. Jordan Lai. Kevin Lamb. Matthew Lee with distinction. Tony Lee with distinction. Dominika Lipowski. John McKew with distinction. Eniel Molina Rojas. Samuel Munro. Adam Nagari. Uyen Nguyen. Jared Punganiban. Nikita Patil. Sarah Paul with distinction. Agashan Pirapakaran. Melissa Kubti with distinction. Mosaddiq Rahman. Nicholas Ramsamer with distinction. Emily Rosen with distinction. Jamal Sansa. Taylor Shin. Sharthak Shrestha. Tanvir Singh with distinction. Jairan Sritharan. Shiyanth Sritharan. Hannah Strehovska. Jasmine Syed with distinction. Amanda Tran. Calvin Tran with distinction. Shania Tran. Stella Trang. Alyssa Vidal with distinction. Bradley Wells. Tyler Wong with distinction. Madam Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of today's graduates.
Hello, Toronto Met grads. I'm Jen McMillan, Vice Provost students, and I'm so excited to share this moment with you. After years of hard work and great memories, you finally made it to the finish line. Congratulations on this huge accomplishment. I know you have a lot of family and friends in your corners too, people who supported you when you needed it most and who cheered you on at every milestone. Whether they are near or far, they are celebrating you today and no doubt incredibly proud of your achievements. I hope you feel that your degree not only represents what you learned in the classroom, but how you made the most of your time here. You worked hard, tackling assignments, studying for exams, and balancing jobs. but also played hard, joining clubs, making athletics history, and becoming student leaders. While some of you might have grown up close by, many of you spent hours on a plane to get here, and that's the beauty of this place. We're a community made up of people from all around the world who found a second home at TMU. So take all of your experiences, your successes and learnings, and dive into every opportunity that lies ahead. Grow the network of friends you've built here and help one another thrive in new spaces around the world. I hope you keep getting involved, keep speaking up, and keep living out loud, because this world needs you, just as you are. Do you hear me? It needs you, and I'm so happy we could help you on your way. Congratulations again.
When I moved here to go to university, I was, this kid in this big, intimidating city, and this place just felt like home to me.
And I knew immediately, having just come from Jamaica, that that was the place for me.
I spent 3 years here. These are still the best 3 years of my life.
One of the fondest memories that I had was being here at 1, 2 in the morning. You're leaving at around 3 a.m., but it didn't matter because you were doing what you loved.
My fondest memory at the university was the day I graduated. Dr. G. Raymond Chang, our previous chancellor, was handing it off to me. I remember when I got up to that stage, I whispered over to him, "I'm Jamaican as well. I'm so proud to have you as my chancellor." And we giggled.
Interaction with meeting students from all over the world. Interaction with my instructors of the day.
My fondest memory was getting a husband.
The warmth, the camaraderie, the buildings were so friendly.
During my 8 years as president of the university, I officiated at well over 50 convocations. My fondest memory really was to see the students coming across the stage, to see their families excited with them, and to see so many of the students who are graduating be the first in their family to get a degree.
And it's all true. Yes, thank you. It's not fluff.
Now, please welcome Provost and Vice President Academic Jennifer Simpson.
Good morning. It's so great to be here with all of you today, graduates and friends and family in person. Again, my name's Jennifer Simpson, and I'm the Provost and Vice President Academic at Toronto Metropolitan University. I arrived here just a year ago, so like many of you, it's my first graduation at TMU as well. All of you have arrived at this day, at this celebration, and at this accomplishment. Once again, congratulations. As we bring today's ceremony to a close, we can take a minute to reflect on the sacrifices and successes that have led to this moment. We can consider the challenges that each of you have overcome. Endless study sessions and all-nighters dedicated to finishing projects and to getting through tough exams. Extracurricular activities to balance with a demanding academic schedule. And on top of all of this, a global pandemic that pushed and challenged you in unimaginable ways. We can consider also the incredible things that you've gained along the way. Cherished memories at varsity games and campus events to reminisce about with lifelong friends. And hopefully, a lifelong appetite for learning that fuels your growth in the years ahead. Every day, in completing your degrees, you showed up, you persevered, you asked tough questions, you challenged the status quo, and you triumphed. This is a day of well-deserved celebration for you and your families. In many ways, each of you is now standing at the beginning of your own next chapter. We expect that you will have moments of excitement, frustration, and sometimes self-doubt. I certainly did. I remember well one of those moments of self-doubt. It was about a year after I was sitting where you are now sitting, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do next. I had had an internship for a year following graduation, and I had to figure out very quickly what was going to happen next. Was I going to apply for graduate school, look for another job? I was stressed out and feeling overwhelmed, and in that moment, what I decided to do, I don't know how I came to that idea, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to contact a professor from my studies. And I hadn't been in touch with him for the year. You know, I didn't know if he was going to get back in touch, but he did. And he was so glad to talk with me. That's important. He was so glad to hear from me. And the words he said, the advice he gave me at that moment, those words were also very important. He said, Jennifer, whenever you can, I hope that you follow your heart. That's also what we hope for each of you, that you follow your hearts, that you know that you can reach out to us and we'll be excited to hear from you, that you hold on to who you are and your excitements and passions and commitments. We hope that you continue to ask questions, to keep learning, and to stay open. I'd also like to say a special thank you to the family members and friends, those here with us today and in other places who have helped the graduates along your way. The support of all of you, these family and friends, has been incredibly important to each one of our graduates and has contributed to your success in incalculable ways. Thank you once again to all of the family and friends who have helped us to this moment. Once again, to the graduates, good luck and congratulations. We want you to remember another very important idea, that by completing your journey here, you will always be part of the Toronto Metropolitan University family, an ever-growing group of passionate people doing remarkable work in every corner of the world. Good luck with all of your future endeavors. We look forward to what each of you will contribute to our shared future. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost Simpson. I would like to thank all the staff, volunteers, and faculty here today who helped make this ceremony a wonderful experience for all. Graduates and guests, once again, congratulations from everyone at the university. I hope you continue to enjoy this very special day. But first, if you can, please rise and join Carrie Weeb from the Office of the Dean in the Ted Rogers School of Management in the singing of National Anthem. Following the anthem, please remain standing until all of our graduates have left the arena. Thank you for celebrating with us today.